Thank you so much. I'd just like to start by saying thank you so much to the World Health Organization for hosting this very important event and for not allowing the inability to meet face-to-face stand in the way of what has been a successful global effort. Better understanding epidemics and how we can manage them is surely one of the most important issues of our time because of the wide variety of social, political, and economic harms that they can cause. As a participant at the scientific conference, I've been given the great privilege to share my perspective and key takeaways from the group that I was in with you today. The very first takeaway is one that many have already shared, and that is that one skill or one domain is clearly not enough to tackle infodemics. Like so many have already said, it's very clear that a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary global effort will be required. Diversity of thought, research, and methods are needed to drive innovation in this space. Secondly, these multidisciplinary efforts cannot just come from a community of researchers, but they need to be complemented by a community of practitioners who are empowered to execute and test and iterate on the research. Researchers and practitioners will need to work with a wide, diverse range of stakeholders to reimagine and restructure the greater system in which infodemics live. For example, this is about redesigning how politics and politicians engage with social networks, or how education is funded and accessed, and how we need to create new roles in society, like infodemiologists, but also about revaluing and reimagining existing roles like gatekeepers, editors, curators. But it also became increasingly clear throughout the days that we engaged that the relationship between the global and the local needs to be mapped and executed very carefully. And this is important for two sort of key reasons. Firstly, it's important to think through how we build social trust and cohesion outside times of crisis. This sustained trust-building exercise has the ability to act as a kind of inoculation during a time of crisis. Secondly, this relationship between the global and the local is pertinent to establish because during a time of crisis, we need every helpful hand on deck. A really important question that presented itself within the group was how do we create a central toolkit of resources that can be accessed and delivered to local communities around the world in a relevant and meaningful way. It's a huge challenge, but an important one to tackle. The very last takeaway I'd like to share with you all today that was discussed within the group is the power of storytelling. Technology has had a huge influence on storytelling. It has not only changed the relationship between media and audience, but it has also impacted on story aesthetics and format. It feels like there will be a renewed interest on the horizon in the power of storytelling and its ability to communicate values, to be able to drive behavior, but also to influence group dynamics. Thank you so much for your time today.